Hey guys, welcome to day 19. I'm doing multiple takes because I keep kind of dragging on about things and going on tangents. So I'm going to try and keep this as short and as concise as possible. Today I'm talking about how the Disney blueprint of being a dad almost messed my life up. And what does that mean for you who are a fighter, you who are going to become a dad, or you who are fathers already? At the end of my first year of being a father, so at least 1 year old, about that to about a month, year and a year and a half of that, I was really, really internally resentful and angry, and I don't know. I don't have any other adjectives. I was just really angry and resentful, and the reason for that was because up until that point, I'd been trying to follow what in my head the mental model of a good father was, and that's all the stuff you see on TV shows. You see the father who's incompetent, he's out of shape, he doesn't do anything outside of work, he just does the bare minimum at work. He goes home and he's a second mom at home. He doesn't lead. He's not trying to grow himself. Usually they're aloof. They're not paying attention. They're the goof, and they're just the butt of all jokes in the show. Like think about the dad from Stranger Things. Think about Marshall from How I Met Your Mother. Who else? The father in Encanto has no special powers, and he just gets himself hurt all the time and is healed with magic cookies. That's like the only Disney thing I've seen recently. But essentially, I was trying to follow. Subconsciously, I was trying to hold these people in my head as good mental models for what a good father should be and what the media was telling me that a good father should be. And I just found myself at the end of a year and a half of being a dad, really resentful and really angry. And I knew something had to change. And I wasn't about to blame my wife or blame my kids for the situation I was in, because any situation you're in life is your fault. So what can you do to affect your situation to make it better? Well, part of it was I joined and I met up with other dads who were strong, other dads who looked like they had their act together, other dads who were in happy marriages. And I started looking at them and their models and their values of what they do and how they lead their families. And I started emulating a lot of that. Now, I do want to put an aside though. My dad taught and showed how to be a good father. And he set a good foundation for me as a man. But what had happened over the years was I had that awesome foundation. And then little by little, Disney and all the little shows I'm watching with these incompetent parents started stacking up on the side. And so essentially my good model and framework of being a good, strong father was tilted far sideways because just bad programming that I allowed in my head. And so I'd end up in this precarious situation. But when I started to go back to well, not who I was, but what I had a calling to do, which is to become better, to level up, to become physically stronger, to set goals, to try and reach those goals, to read every day, to better my communication skills, to better my financial situation. And I try and strive for those every day. What I found was in my marriage got a lot better. It was never on the rocks. I was never in that situation, but I did see that it was headed into that situation. I did not want to be there. So quickly steered the ship, made sure to do that. Besides that, I started growing in those areas. I started leading and taking that a lot more seriously. And then at the very last part of it was I essentially just made sure that I was accomplishing what I needed to accomplish on a daily basis first, before giving way for other things. And what I had found was I was able to meet my family with better energy, and I was able to be more present for my wife and be more present for my kids. I believe because I know more so where I'm going. My wife feels a lot better about where we're going. She feels a lot more secure with me taking the lead. She feels a lot more secure about my decisions. She feels a lot more secure that she's with someone who is growing versus someone who's just okay decaying slowly over time. And so my message to you guys, to try and keep this short and concise, is as you're growing up, watch the mental programming and the models you're following subconsciously. Watch for the people who you're trying to aspire to be and strive to be them every day. Just because you become a dad does not mean you get to be disqualified from striving to become better. This is why one of the principles I keep saying, and I kind of reiterate in a lot of these videos is those of you who choose to become dads, I have to understand that it's not, you don't get a replacement of responsibilities. You have an addition of responsibilities. You still owe it to yourself to grow physically. You still owe it to yourself to grow mentally. You still owe it to yourself to increase your finances or seek ways to increase your finances in your friend circles. However, in addition to those, not in replacement to those, you now have a duty to your wife, to attend to your wife and listen. You have duties to your kids, to be present and impactful in their lives. It is an addition of responsibilities, not a replacement. So watch the mental models that you're following and keep the good programming in, take the good bad programming out, and just be aware of what you're consuming and how it affects you. See you guys tomorrow.